private sector. Now, when the banks, the bodies see that there is an effort to also, on our own, regulate and structure our society, they will invest. It sounds like they're saying, help us. I'm saying, no, help ourselves, and then turn around and demand for what we are due. I don't want to go begging for assistance.
No, you're not begging. But you see, in all of this, have you ever thought of, working closely with the lawyers to ensure that all of these problems that you've mentioned, because you need to understand, he already mentioned it, you have to understand the law. And lots of people try to either circumvent it or totally ignore it entirely.
Not deliberately.
The thing is, the copyright laws are there. I mean, we have the laws, but it's not being enforced. Do you understand? And most of the things, some of the discussions we'll have with some of the key people were like, please, we need this thing enforced. We're not even asking for, if this is enforced, automatically the investment will come in. And I'm not saying about you regulating, you regulated yourself, but there's little you can do if you're not, because you're saying PMAN and you're regulating between the television and the radio. Then what happens on the streets or the movies that is being pirated every other place?
Actually, again, to come to the issue of COSON and PMAN and the rest, they've actually gone around taking steps to shut down illegal marketers. Now, one problem in Nigeria is we don't actually use media properly. We don't actually promote what we are doing. I can speak for the music industry because one of my company's divisions has music, so I understand what COSON and PMAN and the rest are dealing with. I can't speak as much for Nollywood because my company hasn't made inroads in there. But if I come back to this, you were saying you can't do that. There are lawyers there are entertainment lawyers that should be tasked to look into the laws and to tweak that and then make recommendations. The government actually doesn't really make it, enacts laws. Yeah. It's actually lawyers, private individuals pretty much, who create the laws. So it comes back to the private sector has to be empowered, has to be involved in this. Was ultimately, again, I'm in this business. I know what happens when I sit down and I try and pitch a project and they go, well, there's no benefit for us. And what you as a creative or a creative professional are looking at as value and what the businessman is looking at as value are two different things. Yeah. You have to find a way to sell. If I was to come back, if I was to tackle or mention issues facing our industry, the very first one is we need to find a way collectively in our different departments to sell what we do as being of value. The Indians and the Chinese work because they've made their creative industry an integral part of their culture, and they've shown how the culture sells the country. The Chinese movie industry, for example, brings in billions a year, and it started pretty much like we did. The history of movies in America is not too far from where we are right now.
Let's is a country where there is structure already.
Okay, we'll come back to all of this. Let's take a quick breather on the program. Now, you're still watching this morning on Channels Television. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're still watching Business Morning on Channels Television, and we're broadcasting live from Lagos, Nigeria. We're continuing our sectoral review, and today on the program we're looking at the entertainment industry, and I have here with me a Nollywood artist, Stephanie Linus Niokereke, and Ihane Ahigbe. He's the CEO of Aboriginal Production. Thank you so much for sticking around. But just before we went on that break, and in the course of the break, we had some chit-chat, so to speak. We have laws actually that recognize the entertainment industry, do we?
You're the lawyer.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
We do. It is those laws that make it possible for PMAN to be set up, for COSON to exist, and for the newly formed MCSN. The problem in Nigeria has never been enacting laws. It's been enforcing them, and also, more importantly, communicating what those laws are. I think one of the biggest problems we do have is that we don't understand our laws or our legal structure, which makes it difficult to carry out most businesses if you don't know what you're not supposed to be doing until you get caught doing it by accident. It's a problem.
But then we have entertainment lawyers, and they should, as much as possible, be advising the practitioners in the industry as to what obtains and what doesn't obtain, so you stay on the good side of the law at all times.
And that's what is being done right now. Again, if you look at the COSON, MCSN, PMAN situation, most, at least in the music industry, I can't speak for your industry, most label heads are lawyers. Obi Asika, Audu Mekori, Kobam Sasuko, Tosin Bokto, myself, we are lawyers. But it's always saying, the lawyer who represents himself has a fool for a client. We can't on our own advance our own interests alone. We need to work with our fellow professionals and mix our services. The industry in Nigeria is still relatively young in terms of structure, and we need to have these dialogues. Again, I come back to unions meeting together.
So, but at the end of the day, when you're having the dialogue, when you finish your dialogue, you still have to have the dialogue with the government to be able. I'm just saying with everything. Why I'm saying, because they're trying to exempt. If I'm getting you correctly, they're trying to like exempt that. Even if we get our house together, they need to also work in conjunction with us to make sure that the laws are being enforced. Or like,
Because
being in agreement
for the music industry.
Yeah, like or being in agreement. That's what I'm saying. We have so many laws that are fantastic, but it's not being enforced. And what we're asking is, please enforce these laws. That's what we need, just to clear up the market space.
But before you enforce these laws, you have to reach an agreement. Everybody has to agree that you want this particular law to guide the whole industry, not just the music industry, or
the entertainment. That's what I'm saying. We have the laws already, but it's not being enforced. So the thing he's saying, if I'm getting, is for us to get ourselves together to make sure that they enforce these laws, so that it also protects our own investment at the end of the day.
Yes and no. There's a big gap between us putting our house in order and then getting the government or private sector to get involved. How do we actually discuss with these bodies? I'm talking about the need for professional structures that can represent the creative arts industry, which is what I'm not a music alone. I do theater, television, and music. I'm a creative arts entrepreneur. We need to put our house together and then have intermediary bodies that can do the negotiating for us, that can actually advance. Basically, we need our own pressure groups. Every other country
and lobby groups also
has pressure groups, have lobby groups. We don't really have those here. We have individuals going forward to lobby for funds, for dispensations, for earmarks and tax breaks. That's not going to help us. We need to work together. A good example, for example, when there was that famous Nollywood ban, about 5 days, when the market decided when we pay a certain number. I'm not sure if you were one of those that were affected. No. But what happened was the industry went back and brought forward new talent, and they basically convinced in the end the marketers who then held the power that they could thrive in other areas, and that doubled their work. But the key problem was that there was still a missing body in between that could have acted for these people. With music, we have PMAN, and now.
No, but of course, in Nollywood, we still have our guilds. I mean, we have the Producers Guild, we have all the Actors Guild, we have all of that. And, that's what I'm saying, the love it, we're there, we're discussing with people. We're hoping that with all the pressure group and everything that, the industry in the next couple of years, will be able to have the proper structure that it needs, so that, we don't just... Let it not be like, it's a mistake or something. That's what I think. But this is an industry that is providing employment for millions of people in Nigeria.
Okay, so let's go back to that copyright issue. There's this debate that Nigeria's copyright regime has not actually kept up with the fast-paced developments in the marketplace. How true is this?
Well, not really, the law. I think so.
I think we have kept up. The fact is, copyright law, intellectual property law as a whole is constantly evolving because what is intellectual property changes. We've moved in both music and film from an era where you use everything was very tangible. You could read